Okay. Thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Next person,
Good
please.
morning, Doc. I'm Eric
Uh,
Kwame with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Eric.
My name is Claire Akayunimite. I'm with Fidelity Bank.
Claire, your voice is a bit faint.
Claire Akayunimite. I'm with Fidelity Bank.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I am William Mensah of Electricity Company of Ghana.
William.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which ECG, which is it branch or region?
Regional office, Accra West, regional office.
Accra West.
The
Is
one
Accra
at,
West the one at Tema Central?
no, Aveno.
Aveno. Oh, okay.
The one,
Whereby everybody speaks and you are free to speak your mind. You are free to contribute. You are free to ask questions. I may not know it all. So you have to be free and share your thoughts. We are here to learn. So I will be calling your names. If I see that you are calling in and you are avoiding to speak, along the line, we might have one or two interactive sections, or we will also have some assignments and presentations as well. So it's important that we all get our hands on deck and in order to be successful in this course. My questions are not difficult, but if you are not attentive in class, you might not be able to do them. And most often, every question you see in exams is something we might have done in class before. That's why I need your total commitment. Okay, so we are starting with corporate social responsibility. No, sorry, corporate digital responsibility. And corporate digital responsibility is synonym to corporate social responsibility. Um, in that, when it comes to CDR, we are looking at the everything regarding data within an institution. So we are looking at our responsibility for data privacy, our responsibility for managing data, our responsibility in ensuring that there isn't algorithmic bias against anyone when it comes to how we use data and technology. So I know that you already have an idea when it comes to social digital responsibility and what it is or what it does, in the sense that you would most often see on TV company going to make a donation, going to build a borehole for a community, a company building a classroom, companies donating food items to the underprivileged, and a whole lot of things. And it's classified as social corporate responsibility, um, which is their responsibility towards humanity and the environment. So, in the same way, we have corporate digital responsibility, which also is our responsibility towards having good data governance and management of data, which also intends in return is to help humanity and the environment at large. So um, this might be a well drafted or professional definition of CDR, Okay, but the explanation is what I've already given to you. And we say that it's a set of practices and values that guide companies in using data technologies responsibly, ensuring that their digital strategies, operations, and innovations consider ethical, legal, and societal impacts. So, what is CSR? This two I've already spoken about it, what CSR is, and I know that most of you are already implementing some form of CSR in your various institutions. So, we didn't spend much time on CSR. What we need to know is that CDR extends beyond the traditional CSR, in that it's has incorporates a whole lot of things like AI, digital rights, and also online sustainability. And it's also backed by law compared to CSR. CSR has a lot of laws enacted globally to ensure data safety and data privacy compared to CSR. But in Ghana, we are yet to see some of these laws, and that is why it's very good for you to do this course at this point in time. So the scope of CDR runs basically we look at data responsibility, and it runs on privacy, security, and ethical use of customer information. So as we move along, we would understand um, why it's very important to secure the information of our customers or our clients, and also how we are supposed to manage these information or data without infringing on the rights of people. When it comes to AI responsibility, I mean, in this modern day, we know that everything is AI, and AI is moving through almost sector and corners of the corporate world. Even in church, AI can be found in the church. So um, when it comes to AI, that's artificial intelligence, we how do we use artificial intelligence? We have some form of responsibility in the usage of artificial intelligence. So we look at transparency, fairness, and accountability in algorithms. Then digital sustainability has to do with we trying to reduce carbon footprint of IT systems and e-waste. So as we move on, we'll have a better feel and understanding of the digital sustainability. And we look at societal impacts, that's ensuring technology does not harm the marginalized groups and contributes positively to society. So in all, corporate digital responsibility has four major pillars, and these pillars has to do with data responsibility, AI responsibility, digital sustainability, and societal um, impact. So these are some of the scope. If we are to dive deeper into it, it's cut across almost every sector or industry, as I already mentioned. When it comes to product design and development, data governance and management, which is done by almost every institution, because at the moment, every institution or company has an IT department, either in-house or so. Once you have IT department or unit, data governance and management becomes of essence. We look at cybersecurity policies, then supply chain digital practices, employee data well-being, and stakeholder engagement in digital transformation. Good. So, if I may ask, what do you think is the importance of CDR in the digital economy? When we look at the digital economy, what do you think is the importance of having corporate digital responsibility? Anyone can respond to it. Based on what I've just shared, what do you think is the importance of having CDR digital economy?
It helps to protect people's privacy and organization, and also our data is being kept securely, etc.
Okay, okay, yes, that's good. Any other?
Okay, it helps. Stop. Please forgive me. Okay.
Okay. Yes, who else? The last one.
Yes, it
Yeah.
also ensures the um, abusive use of data that is collected from clients.
Okay. Okay. So all that we've said is correct. And as you know, when we talk of the digital economy, it's driven by data. Um, at first, you used to go to bank. I think someone works in Fidelity here. I heard Fidelity, and the one who works at Fidelity might try to cast all of us, we can cast our mind back 10 years ago, how the banking hall used to be. And I remember CBG, you might, by the time they open their gates, people have already queued outside waiting to enter into the banking hall. Um, but now everything is digitalized. You bank directly from your house or your workplace, wherever you are, to transact business. And that is creating or helping the drive of the digital economy. In doing business, restaurants, and a whole lot of people now do business online where you order for your goods or services, you get it delivered and you pay online without visiting the shop or the facility in question. So these are all parts of digital economy. And as we trade, do business, and exchange information, we build up a lot of data. At most of the time, at the end of um, the company or the entity rendering the services, because that becomes a focal point of dealing with a lot of people and trying to amass data. So it's very important that we CDR becomes of essence, as we already said, in helping to protect our customers and employee alike. And also, it helps us to also abide with government regulations and set policies. So you can't do away with the digital economy if you are in this age. Whether you like it or not, you are part of the digital economy and you have your data or your digital self on a server somewhere. So that is why we need to take CDR very important. Um, an aspect has to do with trust and reputation. And in the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into that. Because once consumers or stake holders deals with you, or let's say you are working in a shopping mall or a health facility, I come to transact business. In transacting business, it means I'm coming for diagnosis, or I'm coming to see a physician or a consultant. And in order to get treated or get attended to, and imagine the next day or the next week, I found my medical files on the internet. How, I mean, would you feel? Would you ever go back to that hospital or that facility again? Some might even try to take them on legally for exposing what is supposed to be private. So CDR matters because a very weak CDR will always affect the trust and reputation of the company. And when we come to regulatory compliance, also not taking good notes and implementing CDR practices, you could also have issues with the government or governing authorities. Or there are a whole lot of, I should say, regulations, but Ghana, the most important or prominent one we have has to do with the Data Protection Act 2020. But globally, especially in the EU and America, there are a whole lot of regulations. And I know that in Ghana, we have companies who also align with some of these international laws and regulations. And most of these companies has to do with these multinational companies, most because they have their parent company or office located abroad or elsewhere, and they are mandated to abide with these regulation. Then we also have risk mitigation. So risk mitigation has to do with you trying to reduce of exposing your service and your database to cyber attacks, to phishing, to misinformation, and even algorithmic bias, whereby AI is being trained or programmed to behave in a certain way to favor some group of people at the expense of the um, others. And the other reason why it also matters has to do with sustainable innovation. Sustainable innovation. So when we are looking at CDR, we are not only looking at corporate data responsibility as to the things we have to do with our data, online information, and our service, but we also link it to the environment and try to understand and know how our data usage and our digital life or digital usage is having that kind of negative impact on our environment. Often people will say that we want to go green. We want to go green by stopping the usage of papers and all those kind of things, because we know that papers come from tree, and we tree are also found in the forest. So using a lot of papers means cutting a lot of trees, which also might lead to deforestation. So the idea is once we move from the manual to paperless, we are helping the environment. But in this lecture, we are going to know that it's not the absolute truth. That is not the absolute truth. It does a lot, but it's not the absolute truth. So when we get there, you would understand better. And competitive advantage. So in our part of the world, people do not take note of these things. But um, if you are someone who is under some of these regulation for the CDR, it makes you somehow competitive because most often when people want to deal with some companies or even purchase product from some companies, they try to see what those companies stand for and whether they abide with some form of regulations or not. Even in Ghana, at a point, EU decided to reduce the amount of cocoa they purchase because it came out that most of the cocoa farmers were using child labor. You can Google this online, and that became I think it became even a national issue that the government has to look. And because of that, EU was like, well, we need cocoa, but if you are going to use children to produce the cocoa, then we will not be buying from you. So, in the other lens, when it comes to CDR, there are other institutions who would tend not to trade or even do business or even invest in companies that does not abide with CDR regulations and practices. I must say that institutions that runs with CDR and abides with these regulations are always demanded to produce CDR reports at the end of every year for us to know, for the public to know the things that they are doing when it comes to corporate digital responsibility. Okay, so just want to know. How do we think CDR differs from traditional corporate responsibility? Knowing what CDR stands for and what CSR stands for. Um, in your view, in your perspective, what is the difference? Yes, anyone can unmute and speak to it. Paul Wakam. Paul, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, so Paul,
So,
what's your view?
per my understanding, in the extent that kind of hand to support them.
Paul, I'm losing you. I'm not hearing you. I think the line is breaking.
Which but in terms of the responsibility, we are trying to look at how. Hello, sir.
Yes, Paul. Initially, your line was breaking. I had the possibility you are trying to look at how something. So, um, okay. Okay. So, any other person, please? Clement. Clement Siam.
So I'm here. I'm reflecting through the
You are
yes
reflecting through. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So,
Doc, I
Eric.
want to try. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
Eric.
so I see the corporate social responsibility as a kind of activity that give a reassurance to the community, especially that you established in that you have ethical values, you respect the community, and so you build some kind of uh, semblance with them that you may not do things that are against the standards. I believe it's the same thing that digitally has been established with the online environment where you're also building trust for your product or let's call it your service and so that's the difference I see. Whichever way you kind of are adapting to the ethical standards to build trust for the entity. That's what I see.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. Any other submission?
Sir,
Yes,
Hello, sir.
Anthony.
I'm back.
yes. So this is Tony. I am Anthony Gazy.
Okay, Tony first, then Paul.
Yeah. So the CSR corporate social responsibility is responsibility to the society. Then when digital world or digital from my own perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Yes, Paul, you can come in now.
Okay. Sorry, my network was very bad. Yes, so in my own view, the corporate social responsibility looking at protecting the environment in which you are operating and also extending that helping hand to the community to help them build whatever they want to do in terms of what you are generating from your business. But in terms of the digital corporate responsibility, look at how their data is being protected and how it's being used to the standard level so that you will not use their data in terms of manipulation and other things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The last person.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so
Okay, Francis first.
um,
Yes, sir. From my view, I I observe that CSR seeks to address the needs of the people or the community, but the CDR seeks to address certain gaps the organization needs to put in place to adapt to the new norms.
Okay, adapt to the new norms. What are those norms?
As in, now the world is moving into green transitions and then digitalization. So at first, the CSR is the needs of the people, things that will not make the people aggressive towards any organization, or the proceeds or the profit of any organization where it finds itself to be shared among or to do some projects for the community. But this one addresses the gaps that the new norms has brought as in technological systems you put in place so that it will adapt to the new system that is in place.
Okay, I like the efforts, but you are not hitting something. So the CSR, as you made mention, has to do with helping the community.
Yes.
CDR is also about helping the people. So when you talk of the new norms and those things, it's more generic. So you can talk about still helping the people, but safeguarding their data, and that has to do with privacy. Um, Also, you can talk about doing things with data that will not harm the environment because if, for instance, you have a data warehouse and you don't think about green, and all you know is putting up a whole lot of data warehouses, and these data warehouses also produces heat, a lot of heat. So you have to look at how best you can cool down these servers. You also have to look at where to get power, and um, also maybe you might need huge volumes of power and a whole lot of things. And also these heats also affect the climate. There are emissions that affect the climate. We'll get there. So, but basically, when you are talking about the norms or the new norms, I know you are looking at the trend of technology and AI and other things, but you can center on the privacy or safeguarding the data of people and also trying to let people get easy access to their data or their information when needed. So this is just to add up to what you were saying about the norms and the new trend. Instead of
Thank
making it
you.
generic, you try and make it specific. Yeah.
Thank you,
There was
Prof.
another hand. Welcome, sir. Okay. Then I think, yes, William. I think William was the last person.
Yes, so I wanted to also try it. Corporate social responsibility has to do with responsibility of organizations and even individuals towards humanity and the environment. First, the corporate digital responsibility deals with the responsibility of um, corporate organizations and even individuals towards safe use of data, ethical use of data, and also privacy uh, use of data.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, all that you said is correct. It's true. Um, Basically, this sums up everything you said. Okay, so when it comes to focus, CSR is broader, looks at the broader social, environmental, and economic responsibility, whereby CDR focus on digital technologies and their societal impacts. Then the scope, CSR has to do with philanthropy. So you see more people giving out things, especially when COVID came. You saw a lot of institutions giving out free food, giving out shelter, and a whole lot of things. When it's Ramadan, you see a lot of institutions doing donations. When it's Christmas, you see a lot of corporate bodies doing donations. And when you watch the news, almost every week or every month, you see a company either doing a donation or doing a project somewhere. So it's all about philanthropy, environmental sustainability, and labor rights. And the CDR is on data ethics, AI, cybersecurity, and digital equity. Digital Then time frame. Um, for CSR, it's a long-standing concept from the 20th century. So that has been in existence for long. And I know that it will always be in existence because of what people seek to achieve. Then the CDR is something that is just popping up in some few decades ago. The drivers has to do with CSR, social pressure, and sustainability goals. So social pressure, if you go to the mining sector, you hear people complaining, yes, we have the mine and they are not doing anything for us. Even our roads are bad. But the road is government that construct roads. But people will be blaming the mines that their roads are bad, they are not fixing their roads. They don't have school, they don't have water, social pressure. That is because they see the company gaining a lot from their land and their environment. So it is expected that that is the law of reciprocity or the philosophy of reciprocity is expected that once the company is benefiting from their land, they should give back to the community or society. And that is what calls for mountain of social pressures. And sustainability goals, we all know of the sustainability goals that most companies want to achieve. CDR looks at digital transformation, data scandals, we'll get there, and AI concepts. So examples community development and carbon emission reduction when it comes to CSR. And CDR looks at data protection policies and digital literacy program. And I must say that CDR also looks at carbon emission reduction. So carbon emission reduction cuts through both of them. Okay, so based on these two scenarios, where we have a CSR and we have the CDR, looking at what they are and what they stand for, do you think that we can have a CDR which exists independently of a CSR? Can we have a CDR that exists independently of a CSR from what we've discussed, what we've said, and what is on the slide? Are they independent? Can it be independent or not?
Prof, this is Francis.
Yes, sir.
From my view of point, I'm not sure it can be independent because it fills in certain gaps that the CSR needed to have in the
Okay,
modern society now. So I think
okay,
it work in tandem with the other.
okay, okay. Who else?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Paul.
so per my understanding, CDR evolved directly from CSR. So being independently will be a little bit difficult because it derives some of its core objective from CSR. So I think being independent is not possible.
Okay, okay. So who else? We are looking whether it's mutually inclusive or exclusive. And I think so far we are saying that it's inclusive. Yes, the last person.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think CDR can stand alone, but it's mostly works best when it's aligned with the framework of the CSR.
Take it again. I like your point. Take it again. Let me see.
Yes, I said CDR can stand alone, but it works well with the broader the framework of the CSR.
Okay, so when you talk of the broader framework, what are you looking at? When you talk
That
of
is
the broader framework of the CSR.
the environment, the business impact, the labor rights, community.
Okay. That's good. So that is well justified. So um they they are mutually inclusive and mutually exclusive. In the sense that it depends on where you are taking it from. Um, when it comes to its implementation, they are mutually exclusive. So CDR is supposed to have its establishment, its office or unit on its own, separate from CSR, um, because their modus operandi or ways of doing things are different. They are totally different. But when we look at, as you made mention, the framework, or when we are talking about the results, the impacts, they share similarity with CSR, because at the end of the day, it's all about the society, having a good impact on society, improving the well-being of your customers. So, you know, we all heard of the haircuts. Okay, we all heard of the haircuts that came, and even now this one was government engineered with certain plans to repay the people. But we heard of stories that some people collapsed, some people their businesses went down, some even died without getting the benefits of that haircut, or out of shock of that haircut. So imagine having an your clients banking with you, or having their valuable data with you, and this data is being hacked or becomes a public document, and they get their things either stolen or either transferred illegally. It can be even money in their bank accounts. At least it's going to affect their well-being. It's going to really affect their well-being depending on what is at stake. So we are saying that CDR, CSR, they are mutually exclusive. But when it comes to the net benefits or impact, they are inclusive. And on this note, what we try to drive at is that companies are supposed to get a unit for CDR, just like how we have CSR. No, when you go to GMPC, Unilever, and others, they have a whole directorate or unit um, that is handling their CSR projects. Likewise, Vodafone and MTN. They have departments that solely works on CSR. So, in that same vein, institutions are supposed to get departments or units that handles CDR. So we want to look at some case illustration from global perspective. And we have Microsoft. For instance, Microsoft has its AI ethics and data inclusion. And these ethics has been established to ensure that when it comes to the deployment of their products and the development of the various products that they use, they abide with that ethical framework so that their product does not, one, harm the society or disenfranchise the rights of some sections of societies or companies. I know I don't know whether you've ever tried to access a certain portal or platform for information and the system just blocks you that you can't access this because of your location or because of where you are. So if you are from Africa or you are from Ghana, you cannot access that information. But if you find yourself in Canada or maybe in China, then you would be able to access that information. So these are some of the biases that we are talking about. So the Microsoft also have that commitment of trying to achieve a negative carbon operation by 2030. By 2030, trying to achieve a negative carbon operation. So achieving a negative carbon operation means that um, your operations, production, and everything that you do, right from administration to the production floor to sales, um, everything is very green and indeed deeply green and does not release any amount of chemical or gases to the atmosphere, whether directly or indirectly, which would affect the environment negatively. So that is what they are trying to achieve by 2030. And we have Google. Google also looks at data privacy and um, algorithmic transparency. Okay, so in that case, Google implements privacy sandbox to phase out third-party cookies while preserving user privacy. And they also try to publish transparency reports on government data requests and content removal. So these are all ways or forms of trying to sanitize the digital space to ensure that whatever happens in the digital space is ethical and also it's not biased. And they are also developing principles that will ban harmful applications. Okay, that deals with mass surveillance. So, mass surveillance has to do with applications that is meant to spy on you. So, people can develop applications that are supposed to spy on people, their habits, to know their behavior, to know what they do, and at times even to see your environment. So there can be applications that records your environment anytime the camera of your phone or your computer is on. Once your computer is on, the camera is on, these applications get activated and they get information from the environment to whoever programmed it. So mass surveillance always depends on the intent of the programmer and what this application has been sent out to do. Some also try to find your shopping habits and and try to know what you like or the products that you are interested in and they get this data and they sell it to third party. Then we look at Siemens. Siemens also looks at sustainable digitalization, and that is by integrating CDR into its data twin and IoT technologies to reduce industrial energy consumption. So that is what Siemens is also trying to do or to achieve. So they look at even the development of their products, right from design stage to the finished stage. They ensure that there is that digital sustainability practices infused in every operations that they do. So that is for Siemens. Okay. All right. So we look at the case study on corporate digital responsibility in Ghanaian businesses. In Ghanaian businesses, as you can see, for the diagram or the picture, the screen. Once you see this, you know we are in Africa. We are now coming home. This is local. Good. So for Ghana, we know that we are also undergoing a rapid digital transformation, and there has been a lot of digitalizations, okay, right from the previous government to this current government. A whole lot of activities uh, happening. And we can look at how even mobile money is trying to penetrate the system. And now everybody is I should say has a mobile money account. Most people, not everybody yet, but most people, majority of people have mobile money accounts. About 80% of adult population um, have mobile money accounts. And we also see government led, okay, trying to digitalize a whole lot of projects. Okay, and we know of the Ghana digitalization agenda. We know of the national ID systems. We even know of interoperability systems that currently is running, whereby your mobile money is linked to all your accounts and very soon all these or we already have all these accounts linked to our national ID and a whole lot of things that is really happening. Good. So since we are looking at these things, initiatives, digitalization, I want to know from the class, what is the difference between digitization and digitalization? Anyone? Digitization and digitalization, because we might be using them interchangeably, and you should know when to use each word. Yes. Who is ready? Oh, I know you've been using them. You've been using these words interchangeably. And you might even be practicing doing some form of digitization or digitalization in your office, but you might not know that that is what you are doing. So, what is the difference? Hey, do I have my people in class or my
Doc,
network is off?
Doc,
Are you there?
Doc, I want
Okay.
to try. Oh.
Okay, Eric.
Okay, so I think it came up sometime, and this explanation I was given that the digitization is the conversion or the upgrading of the manual or the analog system into a digital product. But
Okay.
digitalization is the process of establishing or instituting the digital product. Quite
Okay.
a,
I like, okay, well, that is true, but I also want to refine your digitalization.
okay, sir.
Um, the digitization is on point. The digitalization you mentioned is also good, but I just want it to be refined. So you can refine it yourself or any other person
Okay,
can
so I
fill that.
can try. So it is
Okay.
the process of the transformation.
Okay. Yes. The process, but it's not only the process. Okay. It's not only the process. Yes. Who else? I'm not hearing the feminine voices, or they are not in class. Let me see. Okay. Okay, who can try the digitalization? Uh, let me see, let me see, let me see. Mawan Niyendri. I don't know if I'm mentioning your name right or it's crucified. I think you were not in when we were doing the introduction. I'm just seeing this name.
Yes, sir, I just joined.
Okay, okay. So
Just joined,
introduce
sir.
yourself.
Yes, I'm Mawan Menge.
Okay,
Um, I'm currently a farmer in Brekum.
okay. So what do you farm?
I'm into cashew and maize.
Okay. Me too, I want
Yeah.
to be a farmer. That's my vision. That when I grow, I'll be a farmer. So I'll need your guidance.
I say you are very much welcome. I can even look for land for you if you want to
Okay,
venture into
that's
the
great.
space. Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, that's great. Then we'll discuss that later. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
so digitalization, as already said about the process is correct, but it's not just the process, okay, but it's the improvement, okay, or the transformation of the business processes, operations, and services. So, for instance, if you used to go to the bank, write a check, it goes somewhere, they go and stamp, another person verify, they come back, they give it to you, you get your money, you thumb print. At first, we used to thumb print, then later signature. Okay, now. what is happening is that that business processes, has been automated and is digitalized. So you can even go to the bank, but you don't need to write a check. You stand by a POS system, enter your details and the amount you want to withdraw. Then you just hear number 22. You go there, they scan your face or your fingerprint, they give your money to you. So that is digitalization, whereby what we used to do has now been automated or has now been transformed, or the business processes has now been enhanced. So that becomes digitalization, like your admission system. In those days, going to K University or the university, you have to go to the university and go and buy the form. You go and fill, um, you scan copies, you do photocopy or whatever. You either send it by post or you go to the university admission office and drop it. And even when admissions are ready, you go and check on the notice board, the admission list to know where your name is. And later you get a letter by post. But now these processes, you get them at your fingertips on your phone by visiting a portal, filling your information, getting this data through. You get an email notification. You've been admitted. This is your program. You even do registration, self-registration in your house. So this becomes digitalization, whereby the normal business processes is now enhanced or automated. Um, so let's go on. We have MTN Ghana, and MTN Ghana is also doing well. They are doing fantastic when it comes to um, data and also some of the regulations. Okay, so we know that in this Act 2012, they get it started implementing it once the act was launched. And they've been running a lot of cybersecurity awareness and campaigns for their customers, which is also part of CDR, trying to educate your clients on the usage of data or the proper usage of your portal or your platform. And they also expanded the mobile money service with safeguards against fraud. And this happened in 2022. And even now, I don't know if it's according to Bank of Ghana regulations or not. Those in the fintech can advise us. Now, the MTN Momo is a different entity, it's a separate entity from MTN. So the Momo is now a standalone business or a standalone company that is operating within the fintech, different from MTN, that is operating in the telecommunication industry. So, although we are using Momo, and we think that we are dealing with MTN, but technically we are dealing with a separate entity altogether. And I think this was achieved this year. And these are all in line of trying to get management or authorities have proper oversight on the operation of this business, and also trying to concentrate proper on how to safeguard people's data. And when it comes to Momo, if you are talking about data, I think the most important data might be the amount of money you have in your wallet. I know you would prefer even that data than your name that is registered on the chip or on the network. So, trying to safeguard these against fraudsters and these kind of people who try to steal people's password and do a whole lot of evil things. Okay, the Ghana Stock Exchange also digitized trading systems with enhanced cybersecurity protocols, and they also promote investor education on digital trading platforms to improve financial literacy. So, locally, these are some of the CDR activities that institutions or some companies in Ghana are doing. Um, we look at some of the fintechs that we have, like the ZPay and ExpressPay, which has now grown. These are people or companies that started small and now is big. Um, I think ZPay is now international. Now they've gone global and they are in a lot of countries operating at the moment. So they also ensure encryption, end-to-end encryption, just like WhatsApp. Currently, WhatsApp uses end-to-end encryption. So um, the end-to-end encryption is to help protect users' data, and they also partner with other NGOs to deliver digital financial literacy training to rural communities, which is also an aspect of the CDR, trying to educate your clients or people on the safest way of handling digital data and digital assets. Okay, we have Jumia Ghana. Jumia is also global, but we have the Jumia Ghana, which also operates an e-commerce platform, and they also try to focus on transparency in their data usage and their customer privacy. So they have a clear privacy policy which is communicated to their users during onboarding. So during onboarding, these privacies are communicated to users, but I know most people do not read the user privacy. You are in a hurry to transact your business or buy your goods. So you just click on accept, 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 go, go, yes, yes. Then that's it. You are onboarded without reading those policies, what it states and what it stands for. So we have to take time to read these policies. And in any case, if you read a policy and you think that these policies does not favor you or does not advance your cause, you don't need to worry yourself and still go on to uh, sign up to the company. Okay, so CDR challenges in Ghana. What do you think are the challenges, Rahel? Rahel, are you in class? Or is Rachel? Maybe I'm not pronouncing it well. Okay, Rachel is not in class. All right. Who else? Um, we are looking at the challenges of CDR in Ghana and what are some of the challenges. Claire,
Okay, so some of the challenges sometimes we find to the CDLs and Ghana are a lack of like data storage sometimes, or even keeping the data. Sometimes like anything like this. Some example, some of them open the process keeps calling you. I don't know how they keep their data. I don't know how the people or the cyber attackers get to know whenever you have money or you have something like that. That's when they keep calling you. But I don't know how MTN does their thing or other networks do. So sometimes for keeping the data or their customers, they don't take that. I think, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other challenges of CDR in Ghana? You can even look at your own institution, your company and see. And based on what we've done so far on CDR, what do you think are some of the challenges that you have in your institution? Let's forget even about the broad Ghana. In your own institution, what are some of the challenges? Yes, who is ready? Okay, so we have two Rahel or two Rachel. We have Rachel Enima, and we have another Rachel. I don't know if it's the same person logging on with two um, phones or devices. Okay, Enima. All right. Enima is also not around. Okay, so who would like to share with us the challenges of CDR in your institution or you're at liberty to talk about in your institution or in Ghana?
Um, no.
Yes, Eric.
Okay, so for instance, this government workers, the way our data is handled, these I'm talking about data protection here.
Yeah.
These loan companies, how they get our personal information and begin to send us these messages is a case that we have complained a lot about, but we seem not to see much being done. Yeah, so I see one flaw as data protection in
Okay.
managing
Okay.
official
So
data.
that means that data protection is not really enforced. It has a weak enforcement. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Who else?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Paul.
Hello, sir. Yes, I have a contribution, but I don't know. I would just want to ask if it's clear on this. So I want to talk about lack of, let me say, resources.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give a typical example. Recently, I heard on the news that the American government want to give Ghana grants, but they want our health data, which the
Yes.
government declined to give that health data to America. So I'm just coming from that point that because of maybe we don't have the resources, we try as much as possible to also give our to get some grants to also finance our sector.
Okay. Okay. That's correct. But I think this one government did well by turning down that offer. Think about $100 million or so. Um, Although we needed the money, but that was a right decision. Zimbabwe also turned down. But even for the Zimbabwe, they requested that America should give them the the algorithm and the data of their medication, okay, as to how those medications were produced and all those information, data concerning the medications that they administer or they will be sending to Zimbabwe. And America denied that offer. Okay, they said they can't release that data. So Zimbabwe was like, well, if you can't release that data, we can also not release our health data to you. So it was a good thing by these governments. Yeah. Okay, so one last person on the challenges. Sefako. Sefako. I don't know if I mentioned it correct. Sefako or Sefako. A Sefa in class.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, doc. I think
Yes, sir.
I'm having a problem with this MTN. Let me use MTN for example. Their cybersecurity system aspect is very weak in a sense that I studied one thing about them. I'm using myself as an example. Whenever I don't have money in my account, I don't
They don't
receive any
call.
random call. But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I have money, let's say a huge amount of money in my account, I've been receiving random
Mm-hmm.
calls. So I realized that the workers, some of the workers, they are linking our informations to outsiders because they have
Yes.
access to our information at the back end. So whatever
Yes.
we are doing, they are having access to it. So as soon as you have money in your account, they will be calling requesting for some vital information. So I think MTN in particular, they need to really work about their system very, very well. Say, I have issue with that particular thing. Our data is not safe with MTN because most of the workers, I can say it on authority that some of the workers I know, most of them are linking our information to the fraudsters. For instance, some issue happened and a certain lady was crying on social media that her her money has been withdrawn from her account, about 12,000 Ghana cedis. And they have
Mm-hmm.
something dark web tracker. Sometimes they'll send you information. Maybe you'll be doing something on your phone. And as soon as the information comes and you accept it, they'll deduct money from your account without you knowing that you've approved anything.
Yeah.
So MTN, they really need to work about their system. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll get there where you see that aside you having robust systems, the most important asset that you have to look at is your staff, your people. Because you can have all the very good globally top rank logistics systems and everything, but if you don't have a trustworthy and credible staff, every investment becomes a risk. And I think that is where MTN found itself. Yes, I have also experienced it. When money drops, those calls come. When you don't have money, they don't call. So it means that they have access to something on the back end to that is feeding them that information. Okay, so all the contributions we've made is positive. We have one of the challenges technical limited technical capacity for cybersecurity. Um, so for the telcos, they have this capacity. When it comes to the capacity, they have it. But most institutions do not have these technical um, capacity. And also lack of formal CDR policy, especially for SMEs. We don't have any national CDR policy in Ghana at the moment that binds people to do certain things when it comes to um, data or how they manage people's information digitally. The good thing is that now there is an opportunity for us to develop CDR frameworks for both our institutions and the government as well. And we try to leverage on CDR will help build trust in digital financial services, e-government, and every form of services that has to do with data. So, um, as it stands now, we companies, it's important that companies are aligned with globally recognized framework like the OECD AI principles. Also invest in training people when it comes to digital ethics and cyber security, and also engage stakeholders in digital transformation. And most importantly, report on CDR. So I've hardly seen any company in Ghana. I've not done extensive search on it yet, but on the surface, I hardly come across CDR reports. For CSR reports, you can get them easily, but for CDR reports, I hardly come across these reports, and that is where we have to drive towards. Once we are committed in generating CDR reports, we would be forced to align with one or two of the CDR frameworks or policies, and that would also be a driver for most institutions to implement CDR practices or try to integrate it within their internal business processes. Okay, so on this chapter, we can conclude that corporate digital responsibility is no more optional, it's strategic and imperative in this digital economy. And as businesses globally embrace this technology, in Ghana too, we need to do same. And we must know that the CDR does not only serve for profit, but also it helps improve lives and save the planet as well. So before we move to the next chapter, I open up for question. If anyone has question on this was just the introduction. Okay, so this is just the introduction. 21. Let me check. Okay, so just a second.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello. Sorry for the short break. So, any question, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, William.
Please, does the CDR also looks at the analysis of data as part of its scope?
Okay, so analysis of data. When you talk of analysis of data, what are you looking at? Is it you running and uh, a date you trying to analyze the data maybe with your software or how I want to know well what you
Uh,
mean by the analysis of data.
yes, so like the data in my possession as a corporate body,
Okay, how
analyzing
you
the data to elicit useful information for management decision making. Does it fall under CDR?
it falls if um there is a bias, it falls. For instance, we'll get to know that as we move on, um companies like recruitment agencies, some try to automate their recruitment. So you are applying, you submit your CV and stuff, but you don't have any human being sitting there to read those CVs and all those things. It's been programmed. So as you feed in those information, an analysis is being done to do the sorting and the shortlisting and submit a report to whoever is in charge of that recruitment. But in the process of doing this analysis, some try to create a form of bias within their AI system, whereby if let's say we have 100 black people that's applied, when it comes to the sorting, automatically the system will take out maybe 80 of the black people out and only maintain 20 people to be assessed for the sorting. So in this case, when it comes to this form of analysis, once there is this bias, CDR also goes there. So it has to do with how we manage data, how we store data, how we process data, and even how we use the data. So I would say that based on this definition, it covers analysis of data. It covers,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you, sir.
welcome. Um, I saw another hand or someone open the microphone.
Yes, dog gets me.
Okay.
Yes, I like to find out will culture or corporate culture or tradition be a challenge?
Um, corporate culture or tradition.
Be
Um,
a challenge. Yeah.
yes, it's. I think for Ghana, I would say that it's a challenge because we are used to how we operate or how things are done. People are always used to the old ways of doing things and um, would always have the tendency of opposing change. The tendency of
Okay.
opposing change, even in moving from how do you call it, paper system, manual system to paperless system, people will oppose it. And you have the ERP running, but you go to an office and they are still doing the manual system. And you're like, but this thing is
Yes, like
on
the
the
hospital.
ERP. Yes,
Yeah.
you're like, this thing is on the ERP. Is there? Why are you still using media, some side and media impale and stuff like that? You also get at this having even the information, the data sitting on the ERP, instead of going online to check and use it, they'll request you to print it for them or extract it, the hard copy for them. So indeed, culture and tradition is also part. But once we make up our mind that this is the direction we want to go, we should be able to break that barrier.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. Okay. Okay. So since there are no questions, I'll give a 5 to 10 minutes biological break. Then we continue with the next section. I hope that is okay with the class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we have 5 to 10 minutes. We'll resume with chapter 2.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Fantastic. So for the second lesson, we are looking at ethical considerations in the digital age. So we spoke of ethics in the first session. You heard we talking about ethics and what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. So this lesson is to dive deeper into ethical considerations, and we'll be looking at um, CDR responsibility. This we've already touched on it, why it matters most. We've touched on it. So we'll zoom straight to the ethical theories in the digital age. The key challenges, we'll try to know what AI algorithmic accountability is, digital inclusion and misinformation, corporate duties, and ethical leadership. So for this, we've spoken about it. So I'll start from the ethical theories. And so the ethical theories, we have what we call the utilitarianism theory, okay, also known as the Bentham theory. And it was propounded in 1789. In 1789. And it's a consequentialist ethical framework focused on maximizing good outcomes and minimizing harm. So, what this theory seeks to do is that it always look at the minimum good and the minimum harm. In that, every action that you need to take or any activity that you need to take, you have to do some form of analysis and see um, the impact that is going to have on the environment or on people, and always try to choose the option whereby the very activity or act benefits more people than a smaller minority. So basically, that is the context of utilitarianism um, theory, which seeks for maximum good to all people. Then we have the deontology. Deontology, also known as the Kant theory in some circles, is known as the Kant theory. So, deontology holds that certain actions are inherently right or wrong, regardless of their consequences. So, this framework emphasizes moral duties, rules, and respect for the individual. Now, looking at the first instance, okay. Let me see which color to use. Okay. Looking at this, okay, it's really talking about actions are inherently right or wrong, regardless of consequences. And that's the key words. It says regardless of consequences. So what it implies is that this theory does not the consequences. It does not consider consequences, but it considers what makes an action right or wrong. So in this case, the ontology is principled bias. The ontology formula or theory is rule bias. What does the rule says? What does the law says? What is written? And that is what you are supposed to abide with. So if it tells you that at 12 o'clock noon, shut down the lights, at 12 noon, shut down the lights. And these are the rules that you are supposed to do. Now, at exactly 12 noon, as you're about to shut down the lights, and someone call you that, oh, we are stuck in the lift, and the lift delay, and so we have not gotten to the 50th floor. We are now on the 30th floor. Kindly hold on. This deontology says that the rule says at 12 noon in the command room, shut down the light. So, irrespective of you not shutting down the light, the repercussion that it will bring, and you shutting down the light, the repercussion that it brings, it does not matter. What matters here is whether you were able to abide by the set rules and the set regulations, whether you were able to abide by it. That is what matters over here. So, um, the ontology or the Kant rule seeks to most often protect users' privacy regardless of whether a data breach would lead to negative consequences for the majority of users or not. So, in protecting a certain people's privacy and other things, that's bringing the deontology rule or theory into our data issues. If we apply deontology, what it means is we are supposed to um, protect the data of our clients or our people, irrespective of the consequences that it brings. Okay, so we have the next one, which is the virtue ethics. The virtue ethics. So there are a whole lot of theories, but these are the three major ones that I want us to look at since it cut across almost through most of the theories, and it gives us a wider divergent view of what we are supposed to do at every point in time. So virtue ethics focus on the moral character of the agent and not just the actions or the outcome. So virtue looks at the moral character of the agent as to why you took that decision. So for instance, if we look at a man in the control room who controls the lights, the on and the off of the light, more like a doomsday schedule. Um, Now at 12 noon, he's supposed to turn off the switch to off the light. But he got a call that there are 10 people in the lift. Five of them are kids. One is even a pregnant woman. And if the light goes off, they might be stuck or they might have to use the normal staircase to that's the ordinary staircase and walk to possibly the 20th floor. So spare us some minutes. Virtue ethics looks at the moral character of the agent. And in this case, the agent is the one controlling the light. So virtue ethics will tell you that at that point in time, what was the moral justification? It looks at moral justification. So, based on virtue ethics, the controller might decide not to off the light, although the rule says that the light should be off, because the moral justification is that I want to save life. I want to save the children. I don't want the kids to be stuck in a lift. And this becomes a justification. So virtue ethics will always look at the moral aspects of the agents. It fosters honesty and responsibility, and it also help the agent to make sound judgment when he or she is found in a critical stage or a critical situation to decide between two choice. So that is virtue ethics. Now, so I want to know if we've really understood this. Let me go over again briefly. Utilitarianism theory looks at maximizing the good, taking the actions that favors a whole lot of people. The ontology looks at going by the rules and doing what is written. Virtue ethics looks at trying to, how do you call it? Use your moral justification to take a decision or an act. Or an act has to be backed by moral justification, whether it's at the individual level or organizational level. So, based on our understanding of this, what would you have done if you were the controller at a train station? Okay. Um, you are the one at the station in charge of controlling where this train is supposed to pass, where it's supposed to go. What would have been um, your decision? And your decision should be backed by reasoning, or you have to justify why you decide to leave the train to move on, or you decide to let the train move to the left or the right. Okay, all right. So who would talk? I open it up. In fact, everybody will talk. The earlier you talk, the better. If you were the controller, what would have been your decision?
I think I'll go to that is the left hand side because there's only one person there.
Okay, so
Eh,
Komla, you switch for the train to pass through the left
yes,
because
please.
it's one person. And
Yes,
why?
boss.
So based on the
Because
theories you are looking at, why?
if you look at the other people, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So taking one person's off is better than taking 5 people. So I'll just consider that.
Okay, so which theory would that be akin to? Yes, Rahel, your microphone was open. You can comment. Okay,
A few minutes, okay. I have a baby and it sounds like okay.
okay. Who else?
Then I will
Yes,
also
Kevin.
go to
Yeah.
the yes. I will also go to the left side. Um, Apart from the saving of lives, the other side has more life you take away as compared to the left one. I don't know whether it's the drawing, but I also feel the diversion will reduce maybe the speed a bit and will give you some time before even you take that life. So I would prefer to go to the left side. One, saving more lives. Two, probably the diversion bit will also slow down the speed. Yes.
Uh,
So this is what informed my
okay.
decision.
Okay. Who else?
Uh,
William.
I also would want to divert to the left.
Okay.
And in this case, I will be applying the virtue theory, which the agent can take a decision based on the situation instead of going by the law. So looking at the situation, I'll be saving more lives if I take left instead of going straight. So that is what will inform my decision.
Okay.
Doc, please
Yes.
do you have more passengers in the train?
For the passengers in the train, whether it goes left or right does not really affect them.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but with this the man standing there, is he to save the one line down or what? Because if probably you take the left, you think you are taking more line. I think maybe the other one will help the person on the floor and at least can pull the person away from the left room. Or
Okay, so in this case, it's more like an emergency situation, and looking at the distance, there isn't much time to even save any of the people on the track or the rail. So you only have a decision to, as the controller, um, to either let the trolley or the train go straight or go to the left. And that is your sole decision. That even the train driver cannot do anything about it because the train is already set in motion. Okay. Any last person? Um, Fafa?
so, doctor, I'm here. Doctor,
Yes.
okay, I'm here.
Okay.
I'll go to the left hand side because this involves a humanitarian decision. So I'll do
Okay. What theory are you likening it to that act?
virtue ethics theory.
Virtue ethics. Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Everybody is using virtue ethics, but I think the utilitarian theory also apply in trying to save maximum good. Trying to have maximum good. Okay, utilitarian also apply. But the question is to all those who said it will go to the left. The question is, if the one on the left was your only child, would you still let the train go to the left? Yes, I need a feedback. Eric, Claire, Clement, Fafa. Now, knowing that one on the left is your only child, would you still let the train go to the left?
Yes, yes, doc. I think I would allow it. I would go to the left of them. At least saving more life would at least be better. It's very hard. It's a tough decision, but then um, when it happens like that, yes, there are people that they lose their own child. So at least losing all will be painful than losing one. Yes.
Okay. Okay, who else? Hey, the man, I can't hear your voice on this. Oh.
Yo, Doc.
It's a tough one, though.
This one is a very complicated and dicey situation. Imagine I have one lovely child. Oh no! I'll save my child. Oh, Kai.
You save your child. So, so, so now your stand and your theory have changed.
No, the
Okay.
child, the only child bit, is it related to the driver?
Yes, related to the right to the controller.
Hey.
See,
Yes, I will use the right.
you now switch to the right.
Yes, I will save to the right and I mean save the child.
Okay, so now you see what it means when we talk about these theories. Okay, one, it has to be the interest of people, and somebody made mention of the MTN believing that or suggesting that possibly they have insiders who trade information. That is why when data, you don't have Momo money in your Momo wallet, you don't get fraudsters calling you or sending message. But anytime something drop, um, something substantial drop, then you begin to get these messages and information. So it boils down to these forms of theories. You've seen that at an instant, you some have the idea to save the maximum good, to save the maximum good by letting the train switch to the other side, whereby one life will be lost and five or six will be saved. But when you realize that, well, that one life is my only son or my only daughter, you decided to save that one and rather let the five or six life get lost. That is what happened. We are looking at the maximum good, but the person in the control room is trying to trade your data for something that benefits him or her at the expense of the general um, public. And for the ontology, when we look at the ontology, sorry, for the ontology, we can look at Apple. So they are like, ours is to go strictly by the rules, and that is the rule of the game, irrespective of who it favors and who it affects. We go by the rules of the game. And to the extent that when even the state attorney and the was it as FBI or CIA were demanding from Apple to release the data of some terrorists, Apple declined because they were expecting that Apple will hack into these phones and try and retrieve those data to the state, which is for the maximum good, the ontology, no maximum good, utilitarianism. But Apple was like, our policy is our policy, and our policy is to protect the privacy of our customers, irrespective of the data breach or irrespective of the consequences. That is our policy. So this thing went to court, and still Apple said they will not hack into the phones of these terrorists and release the information to irrespective of the consequences that would happen. So that is the ontology. So at least this scenario gives us an idea into even at times, most of the times, how we behave when we are handling data of people or when we are handling the information of of people. Um, so another thing we look at is what we call the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and all this has to do with ethics. So Cambridge Analytica scandal happens some some years ago, and I think that was Trump one. Now we have Trump two, but Trump one during the first coming of Donald Trump. That is where this scandal happened. So Cambridge Analytica has to do with a company, okay, a company that gets data, that do analysis and try to submit reports to, okay, to people of interest, okay. In Ghana, we can say maybe Imani or maybe Dankwa Institute or maybe ISE, well, comparatively. So what did they do? They harvested profiles of 87 million people on Facebook. 87 million people on Facebook. And this data originated from about 270,000 of these people installed a quiz app that they put from Facebook through an API. Through an API. So how did they do it? You've seen at times when you go online and you are trying to um, access a certain service online or portal online, um, you get this pop-up that try to engage you to do a survey, a short survey, and looking at it to most of the time they are harmless questions. So you might have the interest of answering some of this survey by engaging that interface. And there are times too that it might require you to install or download the something online to do that survey or quiz. So basically, that's the was the modus operandi of Cambridge Analytica, and they were able to get 270,000 people to download and install the app, and they channeled this through Facebook. Now, what did they do? They tried to all the people that engage with the quiz or the app expose themselves to Cambridge Analytica. So they were able to spy on them. They were able to extract their data profile and any other important information that they needed to their end without the people getting to know it. And this informed them about who these people were. And based on that, they were able to engineer targeted advertisement or campaign in favor of Donald Trump. They were able to engineer this targeted um, campaign and broadcast to influence the decision of people to vote certain towards a certain direction, and it was engineered to favor Trump one. One. And indeed, the campaign was successful. The tax was successful. Looking at the number of people that was harvested, data that was harvested, about 87 million people. So it helped them in doing targeted campaign, targeted messaging, and also even using third parties platform that these people visit to try to also do some form of advert and push certain informations on those, and they were successful. But the issue is, how did Cambridge Analytica get through Facebook? And they did this at the blind side of Facebook. It was like they officially spoke to Facebook to give them access. They did it at the blind side of Facebook. So now, when it came out later, the issue was, how did they get through Facebook? So it means that Facebook security measures are not tight. People on Facebook are not safe. Information on Facebook are not safe, and that people can easily harvest that information. And aside even harvesting your information, they can even use it as a host. They can use it as a host to deploy any form of activity or um, thing that they want to do. So that also became an issue to Facebook. And this led to Facebook trying to restrict friend access to your data. And also, when it happened, the Facebook revoked a lot of thousands of app tokens, and they did an overhaul of their policies because this is the one that came out. So you can imagine Cambridge Analytica has been engaging in this kind of dubious acts, or you can imagine the number of companies who are doing similar things like what Cambridge Analytica is doing by stealing people data and trading that for money and giving it to third party and doing a whole lot of things. But the repercussion is that Cambridge Analytica was shut down in 2018 because they couldn't face the penalty when it became a public issue, and now it was taken to court. They were slapped with damages of $5 billion to pay, and this was huge. So the company later had to file for bankruptcy and dissolve the um, company. So these are some of the issues that happen when um, companies and other institutions decide not to abide by law, data protection regulations, and other CDR regulation of frameworks that exist. Now, the question is, if Facebook argued that Cambridge Analytica data help improve political engagement. So you'll see that looking at the fine, um, Cambridge Analytica was fined 5 billion. Facebook also had some form of penalty, but they went with the trying to cover, let me say, their weaknesses or their fallout. They try to defend their case or their cause by saying that the what Cambridge Analytica did was for the common good or the maximum good, in that it improved political engagement. And this was their defense. So the question is, was this ethically defensible, or should users' consent be sought? Absolutely, which is also a deontological claim. Um, how would you argue this? What would be your take on this? Do you think that what Cambridge Analytica did was good, or the defense put out by Facebook, that although they didn't seek the consent of the people, they had good intention to improve on political engagement. And indeed, they were able to improve on political engagement. Like you can even see in Ghana, last year's election, you are there and you get a message pop up on your phone I think I saw that of Dr. Baumia, whereby he pop up on your phone and AI driven. He mentions your names and greets you and begin to tell you his policies and what he's doing. This is synonym to it. Just that at our part of the world in Ghana here, we don't take certain things, I mean, serious. Let me put it that way. So, um, Facebook said it really helped improve the political engagement, irrespective of people's consent not sought for. What would be your take on this? Would you side with Facebook, or you think that what Cambridge Analytica did was totally or absolutely wrong? And I've also made a case of what happened in Ghana elections. That was just one example. There are a lot of them that I think all of you are aware of. Yes, who would speak on this? KO. KO. I'm just seeing this name KO. Are you joining now? And what is KO? Can you introduce yourself, KO?
Rob, sorry, this is Francis.
Oh,
I am joining with my phone. That is why it's showing KO.
okay, Francis.
Dr. Francis.
Okay. All right. So, hopefully, Sue will give us his view. Yeah, Elias.
Yes, sir. Um, sir, I think it is wrong because collecting and using personal information of users is without their consent violates their privacy and autonomy.
Yeah. All right. All right,
Yeah,
Elias.
Doc.
Yes, Komla.
Yeah, about the election one, I won't talk about this, but let me just do some examples. About the election one,
Yes.
we realize that some institutions are to be blamed. For instance, Electoral Commission. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
IT director for MPP here, so we are currently doing some registration. You realize that
Okay.
we tap all our information from EC's database. So they've given access to the parties, the political parties, but I'm not sure it's supposed to be done that way. Ethically, I don't think it's good. So imagine if I want to onboard maybe executive to the election platform or to maybe register a new member, I only need one unique identity. That is the voter ID number. As soon as I key in
Yeah.
a voter ID number, they will tell me to retrieve information from EC's database. So we were able to retrieve vital information from that database. Even if I know your phone number, I can also use your phone number as unique identity to retrieve your information. Not necessarily the person is an
Mm.
MPP member. If I know you are an NDC member, I can use your phone number. But then, if you use that phone number during the registration of the voter's ID, I can get all your information. Every information is there. Your date of birth, your work that you are doing, your name, your location, and everything, which I think is wrong. So the institutions are to be
Yes.
blamed for some of these things. Thank you, sir.
Yes, and that is true, and that is because we don't have CDR at play. Although we have data protection, even data protection, how is it implemented? Because giving my data to another stakeholder, there should be some policies or regulations or commitment to it. It's for you to view and to see that, okay, Kojo stays at Ablekuma. Kojo is the one who registered here, and indeed this data reflects Kojo. So when we are going for voting or when it's time to vote, we know that it's Kojo who is going to vote, and it's not Yao who will be there. Or Kojo is Ablekuma, so station one. So Kojo is to vote at station two, station one, and not at Dansoman station two. I think that is the purpose, but as you said that they are to be blamed. They get access to all this information and they use it for whatever they want to do. And this targeted advertisement is just one of them that we can talk of. So you can imagine some of the activities that political parties will try to use people's data to do. It goes beyond what we are seeing, and this is the essence why we need CDR. Um, and in Ghana, we have to get laws or certain bills on how companies and institutions use people's data. So I agree with you on that. Yes. Any other submission? One last submission on it. Um, what is your thought on it? Will you go the ontology or utilitarian?
For
Yes,
Facebook,
William.
yes, for Facebook, I think it's wrong for them to have argued that way. That it helped political engagement because of the maximum good. Whilst the law is very clear on this matter, and so I'll go with the ontology theory, which says we should apply the law as the law says in every situation.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. So let's move on. So now we um, understand that we have to, the protection of our clients or people data has to be paramount. We need to seek their permission before we can release their data. Imagine this data that went to the political parties. Imagine EC has sent you messages that, okay, we are giving your registered data um, to the NDC or to the NPP, and they tell you that we are releasing your name. They tell you where you stay, they tell you your phone number, and they give you all the various details. They give you all the various details that will be released to these parties. Um, do you think most people would say that, yes, release this data?
Not at all.
Yes, not at all. A lot of people will reject it. Others might even say, if that's what you are going to do, even the election crowd, not vote anymore. I'm not interested. So we hear that data has been shared with the parties, but and we hear that in the news that, oh, we all have the register, we all have the register, but to the general public, our thought is that what they have is names and polling stations, but not the detailed data as to date of birth, where you stay, your mother's name, your father's name, your phone number, and all those kind of things. So I think it's time maybe someone try to take the EC on to test the law and for us to be able to sanitize our environment. What we don't know is that even if this data gets in hands of the third party, just like how we had um, the guy in the controller room or the guy at a certain telco trying to trade information with a third party. Who knows who is in the blue party or the green party or the red party trying to also trade certain forms of information or data belonging to a certain community with another agency that is not government. So data protection becomes is a very important thing that we need to look at. In this modern world, we have our personal physical self or life, and we also have our digital life and our digital self. So, as much as possible that we place important in our personal privacy, our personal protection, and our personal safety, and all those things, we also need to look at how our data is being stored, harvested, managed, and used by other entities. So, the key ethical challenges when it comes to data privacy and security has to do with consent, transparency, and minimization of data use. So, consent, we know most often they know that you not consent positively, you not give your consent for your data to be used. So, they wouldn't ask you and they will harvest it at your blind side, just like Cambridge Analytica. Um, so consent is a challenge. Transparency is also a challenge in the sense that even when you have agreed to allowing your information to be used, you don't know what it will be used for, and you don't even know where it will be stored. You don't know how it will be processed, and you also don't know the other third or fourth party who will even have access to that information. So that form of transparency is also lacking. And when it comes to minimization of data, this is something we have to look at. When you are trying to collect data or harvest data, we have to do minimization. But most often, plenty data, okay? Like just like going to the bank to open an account. They have your national ID card, your ID number, and with that, they have access to the national ID database, or they can retrieve every information from you there. But they will still require for so many information, and even at time for you to draw the map where you stay or the nearest landmark. All these are excessive data that are, I should say, are of no use or becomes more or less redundant on our service. So, in trying to harvest data, like for instance, ye see to the political parties, political parties should get access to the register, but they shouldn't get access to all the details of the individual in on the EC's database. They should get access to maybe the name, possibly the age, possibly the gender, and where you are voting. But all those other details shouldn't be given. So minimization of data is also a challenge. Responsibility for data breaches and incident response. When there are data breaches, who owns responsibility for that data breach? Who accepts those responsibility? And what is our response to these forms of data breaches that happens, and the risk of surveillance capitalism? So surveillance capitalism has to do with um, the ecosystem where people collect data to analyze people's behavior, to predict or even modify their behavior. And that is the new age. We depend on data. It can affect your behavior. Even going on TikTok, watching TikTok over and over, depending on the kind of content you watch, it can affect your behavior. Like you all know this xenophobic attack in South Africa, whereby they are attacking um, Ghanaians, Nigerians, and other people. I hear it in the news, but recently I was trying to, um, well, I think I was late. I heard Ibrahim Mahama has given one of the guys 20,000 Ghana cedi, though 200,000 Ghana cedi to do a business, and he has also set up a cement depot or cement shop for him to sell and later on pay for just the cement um, given. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So that brought my attention to is who is this guy? Why? What happened to him? And I decided to go back, okay, on TikTok, trying to watch the videos. But in watching and watching and watching and watching, I realized that I began to have some form of hatred for South Africans as I was watching how they are treating these people and all those kind. Then I realized that, well, I also school in South Africa. So I just decided not to watch the videos again because it was more like trying to make me emotional or trying to trigger my emotion, which can also affect my behavior. So when it comes to risks of surveillance capitalism, that is what happens when people are able to harvest your data, and based on that information they have, they know where you go, they know the portals you visit, the websites you visit, where you read your news, where you get your entertainment, even where you go to. Once they get into your system, you order for Uber, they have access to that if they have access to that database, they know where you go for um, where you want to eat, the restaurants you visit, the food you order, and even where you stay, they will know. So even how long you spend in your house, it can be worked out because once your location on your phone is on, once you do trend analysis and you know that this person always goes here, he get there 9 p.m. or 8 to 9 p.m. almost every day, and this Uber maybe 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. almost every day, then it's assumed that that is your abode or that is where you rest. So these things could easily be worked with. Analytically, it can even go deeper and further to even know who and who you stay in a certain room with, because every phone has an IP address. Every phone um, has a GPS, okay, location that can be tracked. And once they have all these forms of information, and they can do some form of engineering to try and predict your life and even know your behavior, and also try to feed you certain information that can affect your behavior to their profits. And that is what we call the risk of surveillance capitalism, whereby people try to use systems to survey the masses in order to make profit out of people's data. So another example is the biometric data. I don't know, have you ever asked yourself in your workplace if you have biometric access doors? That's your fingerprint. That's your fingerprint being stored, which could be replicated in any form and used at the bank to access your account, or even be used to access that same door or any other door that requires your fingerprint. So when it comes to biometric data, we have the fingerprint, we have facial scans, you have your phone that scans your face. Have you ever checked uh, where that thing is saved on your phone? Where is saved and how is saved and how is protected? Have you ever bothered about that? Or you
No,
are
sir.
you are good. We are always interested in, whoa, my phone is good. It even have a facial scan. It look at my face and it's open. That is the aspect we are interested in, but we are not interested in the other aspect. Don't worry, you might not have $10 million in your account, so I don't think somebody will steal your your facial this thing to go and access a vault. But it's still important that we look at these things. Even with DNA, our our samples at the lab. You go to a certain hospital over and over, they have your samples. What do they do with that sample? How is it stored? We don't know. How do they use it? We don't know. Is it stored temporarily? We are not aware. Is it permanent? We are not aware. We have labs in Ghana whose database are in South Africa. And most of the, I should say, very prominent or good laboratories in Ghana, they have their parent company in South Africa. Um, who is managing data, who is using it, and for what purpose. So these are some of the things when it comes to biometric data that we don't even look at, and that also needs some form of ethical framework, okay, to safeguard all these data that we are talking about. Now, look at this case study that happened with BioStar. Okay. So, BioStar 2 is a biometric platform, and something happened whereby there was a breach, and the breach had access or get about 27.8 million people, their records being exposed. And this included 1 million fingerprints, facial data, and other credentials like credit card details and password being exposed. These are informations that need to be encrypted, but these informations were exposed. Now, BioStar will house data from major banks and stuff in the UK, even including the UK police. Okay, they house a whole lot of data with higher levels of encryption, but there was a breach somewhere and they didn't know. And it got about 27 million people, their data being exposed. So looking at you being in Ghana, one wake up and you open your phone and you have the details of credit card numbers and their password. Let's say about 1,000 or 100 of them on your phone in Ghana. What would you? Some people will not touch it. Some might not even use it. Others will try immediately to shop and see if the thing will work. And once they shop with one and it work, that is Chris. They will make sure that the account is dry. That is what could have happened. But the good thing that happened with BioStar is that the breach was identified by an ethical watchdog. So it's an ethical watchdog that was able to discover that breach. So the information did not get to the general public. It just made them conscious that they need to tighten their security to protect the data of their clients. Okay, so we look at corporate duties and corporate duties in this digital age. Okay, almost every corporation, every institution has that duty to protect our data and in order to maintain user trust. In order to maintain user trust. I know that because of these fraudsters and stuff, even in this digitalized age, we still have people who are not, I should say, we still have people um, who do not trust in mobile money and do not even want to open an account. So they will tell that for me, I don't have mobile money account. I mean, give me physical cash or send it to me via this method. And it's all because they've lost trust. Possibly they get duped or these fraudsters try to steal their money or something, and they lose trust in the whole system. So it's the duty of institutions to try and also maintain a very good um, system to protect their database and that of customers' information and data from being exposed to fraudsters. I know that MTN does a lot of awareness campaign and that I give them kudos. Most often, I see them doing a lot of education on how people are supposed to manage their mobile wallets, what to do and what not to do. Even at times when you are making a call or when you are there, you get that information, things that you have to do to safeguard your mobile wallet from fraudsters. So these are some of the things that every institution is supposed to do. We also have the Equifax breach. So the Equifax breach happened in 2017. So looking at the um, diagram or the picture on your right hand side, you can see the population. Okay, the US population about uh, just a minute. Okay, so looking at the right, you we can see the population, the people in America, about 325 million people. Now, almost about half of this population, that is more like five times, almost five times the population of Ghana, um, got exploited, whereby their consumer records were stolen, their SNIT number, their birth, date of birth, their addresses, their credit card info. And this was is recognized as one of the largest breaches in history. Okay, so um, the challenge was has to do with failure of accountability and delayed disclosure. So and also slow patching. Even after the issue had happened, let me say the processes to try and get it mitigated was very slow, which also made most people to lose trust in the company. So the a repercussion for just breach of this data, the FTC, that is the regulatory body in America when it comes to finance slap them with dollars, $700 million, which is not a joke. This is a huge amount of money. So these are some of the repercussions or damages that happens. But at our side of the world, hardly would these things be happen whereby institutions and companies are being punished for releasing data of their clients or getting their clients' information being exposed. Like as we are talking about these, even these Momo fraudsters, when you are exposed and your money is being withdrawn and all those kind of things. What are the penalties? Is it that the telcos just try to address it by trying to compensate you, and at times they will not even mind you, or what? Is there any regulatory body that slap any form of punishment on these telcos or companies for um, all these form of mis happening, which can be to their end or their service as to lack of proper or stronger ethical framework being instituted and monitored efficiently. So when it comes to data, the data of our people has to be of paramount interest. So in the Equifax breach, 147 names, date of birth, all these things were released. It came out. People's gender. For here, we are not so much bothered about that. We look at male, female. But in that part of the world where they have the male, they have the female, they have the transgender, they have the TTP, so many forms of things that you don't even understand. That place, they are much more serious about gender. And so 27 million were exposed. Phone numbers, 20 million. Driver's licenses, 18 million. Email addresses, 2 million. Credit card, 209. Tax ID. And with just these informations alone, if you have access to this, you would be able to hack into people. Yes. So with just this information alone, you can hack into people's portal and access vital information that belongs to them. Okay. Artificial intelligence and algorithmic accountability, and this has to do with AI biasness, as already mentioned, how certain programs are engineered to favor a group of people at the expense of other community or other people in the society. And a good well example has to do with Amazon's AI recruitment tool um, that automatically scans for people's CVs and try to extract metadata and make decision out of it. And the thing is that the algorithm was programmed in such a way that it tried to favor men over women. This was a bias, whereby men were or male applicants has some form of favoritism as against female applicants. So if the system is trying to solicit for reason for a certain portfolio or position, it may try to how do you call it, reduce the quota of females that applied and favor a lot of male. And the essence is to get a lot of male into the workplace the than female. And we have the black box, which is the AI opacity. I know that when, for instance, you go to chats and with chat 1.0 and 2.0, we used to experience that. And you make a query, the system try to give you a feedback without you not knowing what really transpired, what went on, um, how to get that information, what were the processes that were used. So this is what we call the black box. So the black box has to do with the chamber that has processes and procedures ongoing at your blind side or without you having knowledge of what it is. But we saw that for 5.0 and also for other AI platforms like JSPAC, Grok, and even the one from China, DeepSeek, and it's DeepSeek that led the way. DeepSeek always let you know what is being done, what is really happening in the black box. So DeepSeek will tell you the information it has collected from you, the various sites database is to access, what it has found out of the sites or the database, and what is currently doing with the information it has gotten before giving you the feedback. Okay. So automation risk also happen wherever there are these forms of algorithmic bias. I've spoken about the recruitment processes and the discrimination within these hiring practices. So this form of biasness um, affects automation risk because you might not know that the system has been designed to uh, disfavor you rather than to help you. That's like going for American visa. You get there and about the next 20 people in line, you come and everyone is denied. You are denied without any reason. And it's a template to everybody. So, although you find yourself in separate situation and separate environment, yes, still you have the same reason of visa denial. These are all forms of biasness, but over here we are looking at automation. So it has to do with even you trying to secure a loan, you trying to secure a loan or trying to secure some form of this thing from um, bank or any financial institute. And a good example, um, a good example, if we look at Ghana here, even in Ghana, when they did the securities, how do you call it, the securities recruitment, um, you saw that so many people went to write the exam for the exams, and later on, many people were like many people got failed or disqualified, and even MPs were complaining about it in Parliament. Both NPP and NDC, they were complaining about it in Parliament, that the sector minister should have a second look at it, and what kind of AI are they using, or what kind of algorithm are they using that almost everybody that sat for the exams has been disqualified. And at times, although it's an aptitude test, it asks certain kind of questions that, like someone said, the question is this question was what was the size of a volleyball pitch? It's like someone who is going in applying for to Olympics of the psychometric test. There is a way you go about it. Um, Not with the intention of what testing people to know how they reason rather than testing people to fail them. Okay, so automation wrecks, that's one of the that happens when it comes to this form of algorithm. And one another issue has to do with AI generated contents, whereby we have the deep fakes and the deep flakes. So you have people using it to generate fake information, publishing it on their portal. I mean, a whole lot of bloggers and doing these things. You have others even publishing it on some credible news outlets. And that's by you seeing the source, you might think that the information put out there is genuine, but most of the time is fake. And I know that it even happened during the election also, whereby people use it, get people's videos and they try to do some form of engineering to get the person from saying something else, different from what he is previously. And at times they will cut somebody's head and put it in somebody's body and come out with a whole lot of fake information. So these are some of the issues. And we say that corporate institutions have the duty to look at AI um, bias by trying to doing bias audits. And in doing bias audits, you have to let an independent body look into your operations, look into your softwares, try to do software audits, try to do programming audit and all those kind of things in to ensure the system is free from every form of um, biasness. And also more companies and institutions is advised that we move away from the black box to more of the explainable AI situation, whereby people knows what exactly happens with their data or their information, like what really happens in the engine room before the output is seen. We can have a look at, for instance, we saying that should AI make decision on its own? Should AI run by itself? Or should we have a human oversight on these things? So although you can have AI working on its own, but the human factor is very important. Sorry for the printing interruption. Okay. Um, the human factor is very important. Um, yes, Ken.
Okay, so please, I wanted to prompt you that the
It's
time,
10 minutes to time.
no, it's past there.
Oh, is it 12:30 or 12?
It's 12, please.
Oh, sorry. In my mind, I have 12:30 in my mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Our next class is in an hour time, so
Okay, okay. So I can run up in the next 10 minutes, right?
okay, yes, please, yes, please.
Yeah, so that at least we complete this
So, all right,
topic.
right.
And
So,
we know we also have an outstanding.
yes, please.
We
We will meet
missed
within the
that
week.
meeting.
Yes.
So within the week,
Okay, so I'll do that.
let's
So,
arrange it
very
and
well.
do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we have the whereby we don't have to allow AI to work on its own. That form of human intervention is also needed. I tried to insert a certain video here, but took it out later. That has to do with a self-driving vehicle going wrong, whereby now the one sitting in the car does not even have any influence on the vehicle, and the vehicle was just going without a driver not able to stop the vehicle, not able to even control the steering wheel. Meanwhile, the vehicle was going into a ditch. So if AI takes over and that human intervention and oversight is not there, that can also lead us into a ditch because once someone access to your black box or to the black box and the person try to change certain parameters, you will get a feedback that you might not be interested in. So today we just mention on some of these principles and framework, and uh, I just want the class to read about it even before we meet in the next class. So I want you to go and have a look at the OECD AI principle, look at UNESCO recommendation for AI ethics and the EU AI Act. These are the major, I should say that AI principles globally. There are couples of them in America and elsewhere, but these stand tall. So I'll like you to read about them. Digital divide, misinformation, echo chamber will look number in subsequently. What corporations are supposed to do, I touched on it. Because of time, we will not have a discussion on this one. That when a social media company suffers a data breach by exposing user information, one, what ethical principles were violated? Two, how should a company respond to trust? And three, what preventive measures should be done? So this is a discussion, but I leave this discussion to you as an assignment, something that we look at when um, we we meet the other time, something that we look at when we meet the other time. So take this discussion as an assignment and I will demand for a feedback on it. Developing a CDR strategy. This CDR strategy is very important and it will help you in your group presentation because one of the presentation you do a research on trying to either develop a CDR strategy or a CDR framework. So it gives the steps and protocols on how to develop this strategy. You look at the ethical code of conduct, risk assessment for digital projects, stakeholder engagement, employee training in data ethics, monitoring and evaluation of data practices, then reporting and accountability. So you see, reporting and accountability, we have the CDR reports. So people who or organization who assent to these principles and these authorities are always mandated to generate an report. And before you can generate an annual report at number 6, you should have gone through 1 to 5. You should have gone through the stages 1 to 5. Okay. So we conclude by saying that ethical digital practices are not constrained, but they are drivers for trust, sustainability, and competitiveness. So we are not supposed to see CDR as a constraint, but rather we have to see it as a means of we enhance trust of our institution and also being much more competitive um, within the business landscape. And corporate institutions needs to get data protection officers. I know now we have data protection officers, but what are those data protection officers doing? Are they only doing seminars and refresher courses on Data Protection Act? I think they should go beyond that. And it should go beyond that. And institutions should even get people who are qualified and understand CDR as CDR officers to help them put up a proper CDR framework or the workplace to ensure the sanity of how we manage our data as to our data governance. So, on this note, I hope if anyone has any question, you could please ask. Our time is overspent. I didn't know. Sorry for that. Um, so the door is open for question, please. You can unmute and talk. So not seeing any hands means that it's well understood and we are good to go. Okay, so I take this opportunity to thank the class for joining today's session, and I must say that I will be on standby for um, to know when we are supposed to have the next section in the course of the week to make up what we lost last week. All right. So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Suse.
Thank
Right.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.